the last wine is always the best. And we are still appreciative to you, our dear guest, Dr. Portia Kabera, the head of Department Education at Victoria University. And of course, without reservation, also I would like to appreciate Honorable Doi Bernard One Mutusa, and I wish you more extra successful deliberation even in Parliament, and maybe, not maybe, may it be so even in the future, not only for youth representatives, but you qualify even for the college, you know, of the main constituents. Because I say so without any kind of, you know, attachment, but on reality. What you submitted during the third session, it was so much touching. Beautiful. And it is appealing to you, the area of the you, because career development is not developing a neighbor, it's you. And yes. I simplified it and generalized it. Sometimes people think that career development is maybe when you are dealing with the youth. But there is the age bracket or concentration of the youth that has the higher percentage, but also yourself, how you planned your career as you either come out from the other active age productivity. And all that should be understood well. Developed countries don't want to first bring maybe an American to come and tell you how they do it. At least by the grace of God, through the education we have attained, myself in the area of public policy expertise, it is all about how we take deliberate actions to develop our careers, either through the formal education and the informal. And success, as my colleague stated it, is not about maybe to have a great economy when everyone is owing a PhD, or you are known by the State House, or you are known by a certain MP. It's much attached to also, indeed, how also the government take initiative to change the mindset of the people. I call upon you before it's an appeal to you on show that Honorable, take our message to where it should be. This station, it should be supported in developing the career development and mindset change. Sure. I understand we have over 80 billion, which is for mindset change. I don't need first apply for that. Here we are giving this knowledge and it should be taken care of. That's Number true. 2, in also inspiration of the Youth Leader Program, we are not aiming at how to extract money from you, but we are doing a good job. Sure. Please, we have a platform for you here. Just support us and we say we can remain on the air. And only by being with you is such a kind of advantage that I also tap into through you.
We'll relay the message.
So that we partner with you to change the country. And we are not here for us to talk about this, so and so has bought this one, you know, all that is also necessary for others, but we find this much more important. Honorable Doctor, you were still talking about something.
Yeah, and I was saying that in the process of ascertaining all these skills and dreams, our children go through particular hands. But the question here is, which hands are they going through? Sure. As a teacher trainer, I train teachers. I think when we are training, Honorable Doi has gone, whatever Honorable Doi is doing, if Honorable Doi woke up and did something weird, in one way or the other, 2 people would be hugely blamed. That's true. His teachers and his parents. Yeah, that's true. You get 2 things, which hands, which teacher taught this person. But trust me, there is a lot of chauvinism, there is a lot of knowledge gap, there is a lot of behavioral misconception of our teachers down there. They judge you the moment you perform in any way. That is classification. It's done, it's non-negotiable. I met one of the best pharmacists in this country. He was 3 years below me when I was in high school. When I met him in Makere recently, he's doing his master's in public health, but he's a pharmacist. So he told me, man, we were chatting about where we went to school. I asked him, hey, you guy, so you finished A-level from Kisubi, and told me, no. In Kisubi, I wanted to do PCB math. But the DOS, Dean of Students, that time, gave me, is it MEG, that I cannot manage PCB math. So who are you? My performance in a particular subject does not define me as a failure. Maybe I did that exam when I'm sick. maybe I had something that was disturbing me.
And also at senior 4, you do several exams.
Exactly, you do several exams.
Here you are specializing.
Dude left and went to another school and got 25 in PCB mathematics.
Maximum points.
And he was admitted to Makerere to do a government school to do a bachelor's in pharmacy. And he's now doing very well. So just know we have teachers out there that are failing on their duties in as far as helping to grow our careers and our skill set. So as teachers, as teacher trainers, what are we supposed to do to help support these children in their areas of interest? Keyword is not how good you are in mathematics, but are you really interested in mathematics? Because
are you passionate about it?
Are you passionate about it? Along the way, you are able to perform better in that particular discipline. The Baganda have a saying, the moment you eat food many times, you begin enjoying it. You eat and eat a particular food, and then you begin enjoying it. So if you give me the chance, if you guide me as a teacher is a parent. But if you come and say, Kavera, you were failure because I got 20 out of 100 in physics, and you begin classifying people, building blocks of those you think are good, then you are tainting my career, my dreams, my skills. The best way as a teacher you should do is to support this person become a better, realize his full potential. Paulo Freire, one of the greatest educationists and the grandfather, if not the great-grandfather of engaged pedagogy, says, and I quote, knowledge is a creation between both the teacher and the student. He says that the best way to learn is to bank on people's lived experiences. So what makes you think that I am a failure in mathematics? Because I have maybe failed this term. How can you help me become the best mathematician? That's the question. When we are training teachers, we train them pedagogically. This is how you should deliver. And you find that some of those people are not actually well capacitated. They are just good in physics, good in mathematics, good in history, good in RS, but they don't understand how actually teaching takes place, how teaching is facilitated. What are we going to do? A minute, dear moderator. We go back to parents. What is the role of you as a parent in career growth and development? How are you supporting your children? You know, parenting transcends paying school fees.
True.
It's, you know, some of us, if you get your millions and you pay, you think you've done. I've played my part. It's a gone case. No, follow up in the welfare, in the lives of your children. In the next 7 years, Honorable Doi, we are all youth here, apart from my senior daughter.
Senior youth.
The senior youth. In the next, me sometimes I get my money like 300,000, get into the car, go around Kampala in bars, in clubs, for a fact-finding mission. In the next 7 years, the prevalence of cancer, I don't know whether I will be a victim, but it is going to be too much, and it is going to claim lives of our youth. People smoke shisha.
Smoking.
They're smoking their lives off.
And when you look at the age bracket of those that smoke shisha, they are between 20 to 26. Maybe some men 33 below. They are smoking. You sit somewhere and people smoke pekumona until morning.
Come on, I don't know.
That's the slang used there.
Until morning, people are smoking. What are the parents doing? You know, when you look at these kids, you find they have lacked guidance. We have all been stubborn. But
just a little information there. And do you realize that 85% of those young people who smoke shisha are very well exposed children from very good
affluent families.
They have access to everything. There is something wrong.
Parenting.
Yes.
Okay. the last dimension, and then I go. The government policy framework. Do we have any policy framework that is geared towards helping, working? You know, we have so many good policies. We have very eloquent players. They can come and speak, break down structures, and you feel you're going to the promised land.
They cast out demons.
Exactly. But when it comes to implementing this framework, do we really have any policy framework that can help in excavating competences of our children at a nascent age, help them, support them? Do we even have the resources? Right? Do we have hubs that are geared towards supporting the skills our children have? Because psychology tells us that we are all born with a tabula rasa mind, but as we interact with the environment, we are able to discover ourselves. Remember, self-discovery is continuous in the life of humanity. You said you wanted to be a boxer, and Honorable is taking you to the gym. you may laugh at it. You may laugh at your doctor, but if you went to the gym with him, in the next 2-3 years, you could be Uganda's boxer, the leading boxer.
In some of these other countries, there is what I liked most. And they are earning a lot, even through the arts industry. Karate, Kung Fu. That's very good.
Martial art.
Yes, martial arts. Very good. And it's possible to make it. But now, who is there for you? You were concluding on something.
If I woke up and I'm the Minister of Education, the first thing I would do, especially as regards to education, I would make sure that a teacher, before you enroll for a teacher training institute, like School of Education and College of Education and External Studies, Makerere, or Victoria University Education, wherever, in any university that has a teacher training institute, I will do a Finland way. Do you know how it is done in Finland? You see, while here we have pre-entry exams at School of Law. In Finland, you have pre-entry exam in the College of Education.
Yeah.
And then after passing those pre-entry exam, you are sent to the field to test your competencies in teaching and learning. 1 year before you enroll for the course. And then after that training,
When you're fit for purpose.
when you're fit, they have seen that you have all the competencies. You know how to handle students, your attitude towards students, your knowledge towards the content. You have the basic knowledge on teaching and learning. Then you go for your specialized training for 4 solid.
Yes.
So to be a teacher in Finland, you're supposed to study 5 solid.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Then
is
the
why
incentives.
5 solid years.
5 solid years. That is why Finland now has toppled America as the country with the best education system.
Okay.
Those who question that, you can go and read.
Okay.
But now, how do you evaluate that? How do you measure that? You measure that from the output, from the graduates. How are they performing?
Yeah, sure.
Right?
The output.
The output, the knowledge that researchers and scholars are producing out there, the pedagogical experience. A person who is pedagogically well facilitated cannot classify students in class. That these ones perform better in mathematics, so they should sit in front and the others should sit behind. You cannot do, that's a grave academic mistake. And chauvinistic institutions like religious institutions are still like Catholic institutions, Protestant institutions, Muslim institutions, and other those traditional religious grounded institutions. They are still employing people because they are good at reading the Bible, because they are priests, because they are reverends, to teach the students when they are not actually well grounded from the pedagogical construct or pedagogical areas. But because they are putting on collars, because they are putting on so they are able to go on. But there is more to that when it comes to teaching and learning. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you, Doctor. And now going towards the close of our program, we'll be dealing with recommendations. And we acknowledge being on air that the policymakers outside there, those who are stakeholders, we do this as a collective responsibility. Our talk show is not waste time. Smart 24 TV drives business, the economy of the country. can get better, and we take the opportunity to use the available media, and through this also having our dear guests who are policy experts and also stakeholders, it should change something. I've always done this to the owner members who come here, and also the guests. I normally invite experts. I say, please, from there, let's take it from let us take it up from here and take it forth to where it should be. There is something that, as honorable, you will be coming in to give in recommendation. The question of which my brother also highlighted on of moral behaviors, the peer group association, to be a hindrance to career development, and which has affected the citizen economic progress, being a burden, some of our youth being a burden to the society and their own homes where they come from. And one of it, I've had many cited cases. There's a youth I met, messed up life, was paid for to pursue studies, just began, to pray here and there, doing all kind of hooliganism, and finally the career couldn't, he couldn't develop his career. He's struggling again to recover. There's a hope for someone there who might have messed up. There's another one, and incidentally is my relative, a niece, and I do give a sharp warning, even if I don't have too much authority to do so, but morally, for some of you men outside there at the age of 50 who are tapping into our girls, the girls of Uganda, all those are the sons and daughters of Uganda, especially the daughters, and by hoodwinking them and taking them for disorganizing their studies from universities. And you find a man of 40, a man of 50, you are picking up a girl and destroying the career of that one. Please, for moral rehabilitation, that is also an issue that's against the moral development, the career development of our children. So the peer group association also matters. Before they come and spoil you, you are of conscience. You are an adult above 18. You are supposed to be defined with what you should do right. If you are too much maybe compromised with your immoral elements, why can't you use the religious and such a programs you are having to shape you to think positively? The positivity is much more also required of if we are to have a well, nurtured population for citizen economic progress. Honorable, I would like to bring you back on our discussion and as well give recommendations. And again, much as we're talking about how we should invest much, because that's where priority goes with appropriation.
Yeah.
The government, there should be radical reforms.
That's true.
I may not first call for a change of government. That may not be the answer. But it should be the determination of all of us, and as you reach Mzee and tell him, no, our chairman, I think we need to do something.
Exactly.
Instead of having 89 ministers, let us have only 40, and the remaining amount of money, we invest it. That money which facilitated, we invest it in sports. Uganda can be without having 89 ministers, because it is still a question all over the world that the public expenditure in Uganda seems to be higher. It is the truth to be told. If I met the chair, your chairman, I will say this is the truth to be told. He came passionate. I'm not critiquing him necessarily, but speaking fact. He came passionate and said, no, the allocation of funds should go to the citizenry, not to those who are advantaged. And it's one of the proposal I'm throwing forth here in our discussion as we come up with the recommendation and any other way possible to see how we can mean our talk to be the real action. Kindly come on, because the policy.
Thank you. Let me start with that. About the number of ministers
and RDCs
and RDCs, everything around that is within our constitution. There is nothing that is done outside the constitution of the Republic of Uganda, and so the president is solely guided by that provision. I also want to state this clearly, that even with that, with the constitutional provision as is, still it's a matter of appropriation, that as Parliament that has the mandate to appropriate. Can we further this conversation and ensure a huge, reasonable amount of budget is given to the sports industry or the education and sports industry? If I may bring out a working order, like recommendations. One, we need to overhaul the laws, the sports laws of this country. It's the laws, which is a fact that we have currently, are laws that were enacted 50, 60 years ago, when the population of this country was a third of the current population. Then you would somehow have everyone be fitting. The world has now evolved. Then sports industry was not per se looked as an economic stimulus as of today. The industry now attracts billions of dollars.
So the first recommendation of dealt with laws, I'll give you 2 minutes and you'll be wrapping it up.
There's need for institutional support. Institutional support, right from government through parliament, legislation. Then there's need for institutional support, where at regional levels we have stadiums, we have facilities, we have amenities. We need a specific ministry actually for sports. We need a specific ministry for sports, because sports is a huge industry, to address this issue. The other support, I can give you an example in the Tokyo Olympics of last year. You remember the case of the weightlifter, Sech Toreko, who disappeared. It was an issue of management. He left here when he was told he had qualified. When he reached there, we don't know how the administration actually failed to have him compete. Then he had to run. Why? Because he was not seeing hope back home. So there is a dire need to give hope to our sportsmen, that even when you go and compete, you might not succeed from the first attempt. But because there is this hope, because there is this infrastructure available, there's this support back home, you have hope that let me go back, compete, do much more practice, and perhaps the next turn might be my success story. The best sportsmen have never succeeded in their first attempt. But going forward, as you study and master the game, you become powerful and successful. Now, government has a duty. Religious leaders have duties to play. We should stop this thing of mosques and churches only preaching about money, about healing, about heaven. Yes, our country is very religious. Yes, our country is very traditional. The traditional leaders also, our clan leaders, the kings, they have a role to play.
The last word to the viewers?
The last word to the viewers is that sports is a huge industry that shapes our morals. Sports give us positive competition. Sports gives us integrity. Sports give us ambitions. When sports is embraced very well, it is a huge avenue of shaping our society very positively.
And economy. And your last word in 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you so much, our viewers. I want to conclude today's presentation by asking the government to put across or to establish a working framework for skilling our youthful populace, especially through sports, because they already have the skills, but they need to be supported to grow their skill or augment them, and to also establish career development centers in each and every institution to be able to help careers of our children in their different schools where they are. For example, football players were gotten in post-primaries. Tony Maweje, one of the maestro, the midfield maestro Uganda has ever given birth to, was gotten from Masaka Secondary School.
Thank you so
And
much.
he was brought on board, and he has been so tremendous in the football fraternity of Uganda. So if we have those strong centers established in institutions of learning, we are able to really identify skills and talents and support them. Thank you so much, Avio.
We appreciate your submissions, and we believe they are recorded on and possibly be shared, so that it does not remain as our discussion.
Just 1 second.
Oh.
The support to our sports personalities should actually extend up to retirement.
Up to retirement.
Yes, such that even when you've retired, because you've represented this country, given it huge PR, there should be something pensionable for you.
And the pay should be clear to
It should be
the
effected.
for those who earn from gold to others and others which are supposed to be identified.
Medalists are supposed to get 5 million per month.
Yes.
We should pursue this.
Yes.
Even when they retire,
Yes.
other people who work for government retire and still get what? Pension.
Thank you so
about
much.
these people.
In addition to that, in fact, it shouldn't be just at retirement. It should be like, you see, professors. If you retire at the age of 62, 62 is supposed to be retiring, right? But professors, they are given more 7 years, right? So these sports personalities,
But you don't retire. It is your own.
Given your contribution to marketing the country, we should add them more years.
Okay, doctor.
After receiving their pension.
Okay, doctor, we promise, and I'm in talk, I'm in dialogue with the Donor LMT.
Yes.
We want to dedicate one weekend every month for sports.
Yeah.
If you'll be able to support us,
Yeah.
we'll be grateful.
We will work to.
And also, we have in a month a dedicated platform for education.
Yes.
And also, we also have in a month every Saturday to have natural resources and the issue also of technology, natural resource development. Thank you for staying with us on Smart 24 TV. I appreciate our dear guests who have been such wonderful guests this morning. I believe you are much more of a blessing, and everyone over there, you also blessed to have listened to us until we meet next Saturday. And we pray that you will be part of this discourse to understand that the dominion that God gave you in the book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 28 to take charge, to dominate, it depends on your determined attitude and mind to see how we can explore into the available opportunities. God bless you until we meet next time. Enjoy your weekend and go to pray on Sunday. It is always a pleasure to speak to God over these matters as well. And as also the government takes serious action into them. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Yeah.